Hello everyone and welcome back. For this tutorial, we're going to look at data collections in Python. There are 4 different collection data types you can use in Python. We have sets, tuples, dictionaries, and lists. Collections in Python are containers used to store data, also known as data structures. I'm going to start off with lists. List is one of Python built-in data type that is used to store a collection of data. You can store multiple items in a list, and a list is created by using the square brackets. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to use a list in Python. We have a variable called car, and we want to store a list of cars in that single variable. So you have to use the square bracket for a list. To store an item in your list, you must use the double quotes, and inside of the double quotes, that's where you're going to list your item. So for this list, or for this variable, we can list Honda. You have to get out of the double quotes, you put a comma, you list your next item. So I'm going to say Mazda, get out of the double quotes, comma, and BMW. And that's all you have to use to create a list. Now, if you want to print the list, you have to use the print function. And inside of the print function, we're going to print the car variable. If I press run, then the list is at the bottom. You can also use the type function to know which data type you're using. So inside of the print function, I'm going to use the type method, and I want to see the data type for the car variable. And if I press run, it came back as class list. Now, for the list variable, or for the list data type, you can use strings. You can also use numbers. So I can say numbers equal to, and I can say 1, 3, 5, and 6. And I'm going to put a space between them. And I can go ahead and print my number variable. And when I run it, I would get back my list of numbers. I can also go ahead and use the type function inside of the print function. And I want to print number, and if I run it, it comes back as a list. You can also print Boolean variables as well in list. I'm going to declare a variable called boolval, and if you want to declare a list of booleans, you do not have to enclose it in double quotes. If you put double quotes around your boolean value, it's automatically going to turn into a string. So I'm just going to write true, comma, space, false, comma, space, true, and let's do one more false. And if I go ahead and print my boolval variable, I would get back true, false, true, false. I can also print the data type using my type method, and I press the run button, I still get back a list. You can also create a list of different data types. Let's declare a variable called mixed list. And inside of this mixed list variable, we're going to give a name of a car. We're going to give a number, and we also want a boolean as well. So we can go ahead and print our list and press the run button, and we get back our list. Now, if we go ahead and use the type method inside of the print function to get back the data type of our list variable, it will show that it's a list. You can also have duplicate items in your list. So I can also add Honda to the list again. And if I hit the run button, I would get back my list and also the data type from my list. In most programming languages, the items or the index starts at 0. So we will go 0, 1, 2, and 3. When you're working with a list, you can change, add, or remove item after the list has been created. I'm going to copy this line of code at line number 1, and I'm going to paste it at line number 3. And I'm also going to add a second car to this list. And I want to print the list, so I'm going to remove the type function, and I'm going to press the run button, and I get back my first list that I created at line number 1, and I also get back the modified list that I created at line number 3. So you can add, remove, or modify your list. You can find the length of your list by using the len function. So at line number 3, let's declare another print statement. And inside of the print statement, we want to use the length function. Inside of the parameter for the length function, I want to find the length of my list variable, or the mixed list variable. And I also want to find the length of the modified list variable as well. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the run button, and we got back the length 4 for the first list, and then we got back 5 for the modified list at line number 4. You can also use the list constructor available in Python. Let's say, for example, we want to print a list of fruits. Instead of creating a variable and putting all the items or storing all the items in that variable, we can just use the list constructor in Python. So inside of the print function, we can use the list constructor, and with the list constructor, it's a little bit tricky. You must use double parentheses or double brackets. Inside of the double brackets, you would list the items that you want to get printed. So we can go ahead and list apples, pears, and let's put one more, dates. When I press the run button, I would get back my list. You can access the items in your list by using the index number. So let's go back and create a variable called cars, and we're going to have cars equal to, I'm going to list Honda, I want Mazda, and let's list BMW. Now, if you want to print a specific car or a specific index, you can do that inside of the print function. So you can say print. Inside of the print function, you want to print the cars variable. After the variable name, you're going to use the square brackets, and then you're going to print the index that you want. So the index start from 0. So this is 0. This is 1. And this is index number 2. So if you want to print Mazda, Mazda will be index number 1. If you want to print Honda, Honda will be in index 0. So let's go ahead and print index 0, and that will give us back Honda. And if we print index 1, that will give us back Mazda. And if we print index 2, we're going to get BMW. If you want to print the last item in your index, you can use -1. So that will be BMW. If you want to print Mazda, you can go ahead and do -2. And if you want to print Honda, you can go ahead and use -3. You can also print in range. So I'm going to add one more car to the list. And if I want to print from range 1 to 3, and I would get back Mazda and BMW. If I do 1 and 4, it will start at index number 1. So this is 0, this is 1, and it will print the 4th item inside of the list. I'm going to hit enter, and it print Mazda, BMW, and Akira. Now what happens if I print 0 to 4? It will print everything because it will start at 0 and it will print all the way up to the 4th item. So I get back everything. I can also start at index 1, 0. So I can start at 0, 1, 2. So I want to start at index number 2, which will be BMW, and I want to print up to the 4th item, which will be Akira. So I get back BMW and Akira. You can check if a specific item is in the list by using a loop. This topic will be a little bit advanced because I haven't covered if statement as yet. However, I'm going to use this opportunity to briefly introduce the if statement to you. I already have a list of cars, so I'm going to check if Mazda, and you also want to use the in keyword, so in cars, which is my variable at line number 1, and I'm going to use the colon, and on the new line I want to print inside of the double quotes. I'm going to say item is in list. Then I'm going to use the else keyword, so I'm going to say else, and I want to print inside of the double quotes item is not in list. And I'm going to hit the run button, and the item is inside of the list and it's located at index number 1. So I'm going to use it with a different car that is not in the list. So I'm going to say Toyota, and because Toyota is not in the list, it's going to come back as item is not in the list. You can also change an item in the list. Let's print the cars variable for demonstration purposes, and I can say car, which is my variable, and I want item number 1, which is Mazda. I want equal that item to Mercedes, and then I will go ahead and print the cars variable with the updated list. I'm going to press the run button, and I got back my old list with Mazda, and it printed also my updated list with Mercedes. You can also use the insert function to update your list. I'm going to delete line number 3, and I'm going to use the insert function. So I would say cars dot insert, and the insert function is a built-in function in Python. So insert at index number 1, I want you to change it from whatever is in that index currently to Nissan, and yes, I'm going to click on the run button, and I get back my updated list with Nissan. You can also add items to your list as well by using the append function that is built in Python. So I can go ahead and say cars dot append, and I want to append Ford to my list. Ford is going to be appended at the back of the list, so it's going to be appended after Acura. And now I want to print my updated list, and I'm going to go ahead and press the run button. And now at line number 6, I got back my updated list where I appended the Ford brand to the list. You can also remove an item from the list with the remove function, also built in Python. So I can go ahead and say cars dot remove, and I want to remove BMW. So I can go ahead and say remove BMW from the list, and I want to print my updated list. So I'm going to print cars. So now when I press the run button, I got back my original list, got back the list that I updated. I also got back the list that where I appended the Ford brand to the list, and I also got back the last one where I removed the BMW from the list. You can also remove by index. So I'm going to delete all these lines of code to make it a bit more readable. This prints the original list, and this will print the updated list where I remove BMW from the list. You can also remove items from the list by index instead of a string. And to remove the items from your list using the index method, you can use the pop function that is built into Python as well. So I can say cars.pop index number 2, and if I run it, I get back the list where BMW is gone. Let us pop index number 0, and if you look at the results, Honda is gone. We can also pop index number 1, and Mazda will be gone. If you want to delete your list or delete the entire list, you can use the del keyword inside of Python. So I can say del, and del is a built-in keyword, and delete the cars variable or the cars list. So I can go ahead and press the run button, and at line number 4, it will give me an error because this list is deleted. If you look at the error message, it will show you where exactly the error is coming from. So the error is coming from line number 4, and it's saying that name cars is not defined. So if you want to clear the list but still have the variable available or still have the variable in your program, you can do that by using the clear function. Now what the clear function does, the clear function will delete all the items inside of the list and keep the variable in your program. So I can say cars.clear, and when I press the run button, I would get back my list, which line number 2 has printed my original list, and at line number 3 I cleared the items inside of the list. The list is still there, however the items are gone. You can also loop through your list by using a while loop or a for loop. So I will go ahead and use the for loop. So I'm going to say for make in cars, and I'm going to print my variable make. So what I did here, I just write a simple for loop, and I'm declare a variable called make, and I want to print my variable make. So that make variable will go through my items inside of my cars list. If I go ahead and press the run button, I will get back all of my list. I'm going to go ahead and delete line number 2 to make the code a little bit more clearer. And I'm going to hit the run button and I get back my list. I can also sort my list in alphabetical order by using the sort function built inside of Python. So I can say cars.sort, and now I'm going to print the cars variable. When I hit the run button, I would get back my list sorted. I can also sort in a reverse order. So inside of the sort function, I can say reverse equals true. And when I press the run button, it will sort my list or sort the items in reverse order, starting from Z up to A. If you have mixed case items in your list, you can also sort it by using the sort function. So for example, if I have Mazda and the M is lowercase, and also for Akira the A is lowercase, I can also use the sort function. So I can say cars.sort, and inside of the sort function, I want the keyword. So key is going to equals to, and we're going to use str dot lower. Let's print the cars variable. So when I hit the run button, I got my list sorted by using str dot lower. You can also copy your list. So for example, I already have a list created called cars, and I'm going to declare another variable called auto. And I'm going to have auto assigned to cars.copy. I'm going to go ahead and print the auto variable. And when I press the run button, I got back my list of cars. You can also copy your list by using the built-in list function. So I'm going to go ahead and put back the Mazda in uppercase M and Akira in uppercase A. And this time I'm going to use the built-in list function that comes with Python, and inside of the parameter of the list function, I want to copy the cars variable. I'm going to go ahead and press the run button. I got back my list. So there are two different ways you can copy a list in Python. You can use the copy method or you can use the list method. You can also join a list together. So for example, I'm going to declare another variable called SUV, and I'm going to assign SUVs to pilot. The second one is going to be CX5. The third one is I'm going to give it X3. And the last one, I'm going to do MDX. And to join the list together, I'm going to use a for loop. So I'm going to say for X in SUVs, and I'm going to say cars dot append, and I want to append X, and now I'm going to print my cars variable. So the cars list now is going to be updated with the cars and also SUVs. So I'm going to press the run button and I get back the cars and also the SUVs. You can also do it without the for loop. If I remove the loop and I just say cars.append SUVs, and I'm going to print the cars method. So I just appended the SUVs list to the cars list just by using cars.append without the loop. So if I press run, I got back cars and I also got back SUVs. Another way you can append, or another way you can join lists together, you can use the extend function. So instead of using the append, we can say cars.extend, and we extended SUVs. So if I go back and I press the green run button, I got back the list of cars and also the list of SUVs. So there are 3 different ways you can join lists in Python.